This is KMTV. My name is Nathan Charles. On this beautiful day, it's March 13 and it's Decoration Day in Liberia. For us in the US, we are going on our normal activities. But in Liberia, it's Decoration Day and we are paying homage to those who lost their life, our loved ones, relatives, and friends. We say our sympathy to all those who are grieving on this beautiful day. It is good to remember those who have left us and they are resting until Judgment Day. Also, on this Diaspora Talk, we're looking at the Civil Service Agency Director General Josiah Joker takes over CSA. He has been outlining financial challenges, plans to implement the bi-weekly pay system in Liberia, a new thing to be introduced by Josiah Joker when he resumed full function of the Civil Service Agency. Representative Yeke Koluba is blasting Joseph Boka, president of Liberia, for elevating Man Botolo for raining insults on him and other national issues as he returned to the country from a security conference in neighboring country. Residents of Grand Cape County once President Joseph Boyka intervened in the situation involving the Bee Mountain crisis there that resulted into the death of their citizen or their residents. And 12 officials of Magibi County Health Team indicted in connection with financial improprieties and other heinous crimes there. This is the Diaspora Talk. Jackson George is our lead panelist. Cyrus McGee is not in studio today. Hopefully, he will be joining us. Joanne Prowse is also affiliated with the Diaspora Talk. This is the Diaspora Talk. Mr. Josh, it's Decoration Day.
I know. I think we have to cut Sarah's pay. This guy,
12 hours.
this guy is not coming in as much, but it's Decoration Day. I think we all have family members that have passed, and I think it is important for us to remember those who passed, and also, we had a 14-year civil war. There's some people who are not fortunate to have seen their family graves, so we need to take that into consideration as well. But on the whole, I think Decoration Day is a good thing. People should go out there and decorate their family grave. I wish I was in Liberia to go to my grandparents and my brother's grave and sister grave so that I can decorate it. But on my return, I will go back there and try to see what I can do to help clean it up.
uh, Reserving the grave or the cemetery of our loved ones, because we've seen in Liberia, Center Street, from the days of Charles Taylor, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, up to just former President George Weah, now Joseph Boka. We are not preserving or respecting our graves. Criminals are living there. We are using it as dump site. What can be done differently?
I think we have not seen our cemetery as a secret place. We have not we have not seen our cemetery from the business point of view. And so many of the times these things were government owned. I think we need to start looking at private cemeteries. But in terms of what you talk about, I think it is a good thing for government to get involved in cleaning up and protecting uh, those cemeteries so that we add value to them. People should be able to go to the cemetery anytime during the year to visit their loved ones. Sometimes on Center Street, especially if you went there, you don't even want to go in there. If you have a family
Pull
member
your
there, you
nose
don't
and
want to go
pass.
there. So I think it's a good thing. I think the city mayor should work in making sure that that place is clean and people can go and revisit. I would say revisit their loved ones. It is important. It's part of our culture. It's part of our tradition, and we should just not forget about that.
I think so, because if you go around Center Street, those who died in the 90s, in the 2000, you cannot really actually locate their graves, even from the Dubo Road. So we have these public cemetery all around Liberia, but yet they are used for criminal hideouts.
I think it is hard to relocate all of those graves. If government say let's relocate, let's find a graveyard outside of the capital and relocate, it's kind of difficult. But I think we can preserve the ones we have right now, and and stop making it a place where criminals and criminals hide out. But again, some of these things are easier said than done. It is easy to say, let's get rid of all of the criminals. Uh, let's stop making this a criminal hideout. Again, we need resources to do that. We need enforcement. We need rehabilitation. There's a lot of things that we need. So sometimes when you look at these complex problems, you be like, okay, let me just deal with the other ones that I can deal with. But in short, uh, lack of resources have contributed to many of these things. Mismanagement of resources, misappropriation of resources. So I think it's something that government need to look into and clean up those graves so that people can have quiet time with their families.
Yes, it's indeed important. Decoration Day. I remember one of my editors, he wrote a piece, and every time when there is a decoration day, we celebrate. He said, "Decoration Day, not liquoration day," because
Correct.
people use that moment to drink
And enjoy
and
themselves.
enjoy themselves. And we have to, like you said, preserve our cemetery. Even in the US, when you go at cemetery, you like it's a moment of quietness. You see that cleanliness. I mean, like,
You can
wow.
reflect.
You reflect, you see people names, the
Yeah.
day, the time, some members of them, people they come up
You
saying,
know, Nathan, the thing about it, these people are not different from us. You know, after we've lived here all these years, we've gone to school with them, we've sat in the classroom with them. Sometimes I ask the question, are they just different? They're not. It's just the way we applied ourselves, how we look at our fellow librarians. Are they equal librarians? Are they? There's no librarian that's more librarian than the other. But when we say because we've made it, a whole group of the other people who have not made it are less librarians, and that's why these things happen. There should be no reason why people should not be able to go to the graveyard and sit with the family members and do these things. Well, the city is small. We have more people in the city than in the entire country, I would say, in Monrovia. And so in Montserrat, let me put it that way. So it is tight, and for many years, people use those cemeteries to put a family member in. But most people are going outside of Monrovia now. They got private cemeteries now, and I think it's much better outside now than what it was before. But on the whole, I think there must be some kind of a government intervention to reduce the spoils.
yes, to reduce the spoils. Indeed, we have to preserve our thing, and people use that time to make some extra cash. People look for their loved ones. We have to reflect on our loved ones. Let's respect their remains, and it's a secret place. Let's move over to this other discussion here. The Civil Service Agency new director, Josiah Joke, says as of March 12, he had the CSA had account balance of 191 US dollars.
Wow.
And also Liberian dollars, 10,200 Liberian dollars as of March 12, 2024, when he took over. Some of the other things he said, the issue with the strength of the CSA, he said about 300, he not about, he said 322 persons are with the CSA, and all of that amount, 200 are just sitting at the main office there. That's another thing he wants. Also said, he said the total wage bill of the central office is about 227,416 United States dollars. There are other things he said when he took over, but how can we have a vibrant civil service? And what do you make of this statement? His bank balance, the strength of the CSA, and also the issue of the payroll overflowing our government payroll.
Well, I think I like the fact that the exposure that when I got into this office, this is what I met. Uh, that's a good thing to know what was there and what you're working with. In terms of having too many people on the payroll, I still believe that government should not be the largest employer. We should devise strategy. That's where the innovation come in. That way, we need to identify people, companies in the private sector, invest into them so that they can hire more of these people. Uh, it is difficult to get rid of everybody within government because government has always been our largest employer, right? So, but the innovation is how many Liberian or how many businesses do we have? Meta Steel, Esela Metal, all of these companies. How can we move these government employees into the private sector? What kind of incentives can we give these companies so that they hire people that are already working for government but got the skills that these people need. So there's so many different strategies that you can use to reduce government while at the same time not getting rid of all of those employees at once. So all of these companies, Firestone absorb some of these people and we give you tax break? Can Asala Metal absorb? Can we look at businesses, like how they call it,
Fulani,
all of Jetty and all of these companies? How can we move these people into these companies so that they become regular employees, they're making money and they're paying taxes? But equally so, government is being innovative in terms of how we do it so that we're not just telling all these people go and sit down, because it could be a political strategy to floor all these places with people. And then when you get rid of them, they say, well, the government came and firing people, right? So we got to be innovative and do that. But I still believe that government should be smaller. Government should not be the largest employer. Notwithstanding, I think one of the things that he said was getting government to pay 2 weeks. It is a good idea, but it must be thought of very well in terms of paying every 2 weeks. Not a bad idea. I would think you start small. You start with autonomous agency, that is money-making agencies like the port, the free port, like the LRA, the airport, that bringing in, they're generating income. RIA that generating income. You start from there before you move it, you roll it out to the larger government.
Why you think so?
Because in the past we've seen that government have not paid civil servants for months, right? So if I'm taking pay 1 month, I haven't gotten paid for 3 weeks, and you reduce it to 2 weeks, you look at the language I'm going to be using. I'm not taking pay for 6 times. Instead of saying 3 months, I'm saying 6
weeks.
6 weeks. So it looks more, but it's the same thing. So you have to be careful. Good strategy. It helps the economy because now people taking pay every 2 weeks. Money is being circulated into the economy, but it got to be a well thought out plan. The finance ministry will have to be heavily involved. It takes an entire government machine to get to that point. So I don't think he alone can effect that kind of a policy. It has to be a well thought out plan. Government must have at least 3 to 4 months salary in the bank for civil servants to be able to even roll out a program of that nature.
Let's take a listen to Josiah Joker when he talked over a few things, and we'll come back. We'll highlight few of his points where he talked about in his taking over speech.
Streamlined for the first time across our civil service, and with the approval of His Excellency the President and the Senate, the CSA will fully implement a bi-weekly payment system for all civil servants. For example, I know you like that part. For example, if a teacher, a police officer, or a nurse makes a net monthly salary of $300 United States dollars or East Liberian dollar equivalent, he or she will receive $150 every 2 weeks on the 15th and 30th This crucial action, my dear friends, this crucial action is doable. All we need to do is to readjust our agreement with the commercial banks to make the first payment to civil servants on the 15th of each month. We will work with the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning to ensure that salary remittances to commercial banks are made before the 30th, so that on the 30th, civil servants can receive their second and final payment of each month.
That is possible, Jackson, in Liberia.
Everything is possible. Again, if you look at, we say you got to look at the old math, apply the new math, right? Everything is possible
in Liberia without a system.
What makes it difficult is the fact that, and I like the fact that he said we'll work with finance. When he gets to the finance ministry, he will understand that it is not as easy as he thought. Right?
But why should it not be easy? See, everything is
Because
possible.
Everything is possible. That is, if you put everything remain constant, if you put everything in place that's supposed to work. If we don't even have money, if we owe government employees 3 months back, right, or 2 months, or even a month, how can you roll out a 2 weeks program? It sounds easy because if you were to pay 30 million, you just need 15 million to the 15, right? Then you can hustle the other 15 million. But it's gonna take a while for this kind of a program to roll out. Good idea, but difficult. It entails a lot more work because now there's a lot more transactions. So I think, like I said, let's start from private sector. Why can't we roll this out with the private sector, autonomous agency, and work our way to government? Because government is the largest employer, and government does not have money to do other things. If you see, he just got $191 in his account. So basically, his whole institution doesn't even have the money to pay 2 weeks, right? So imagine all of the other institutions that are shut. So it takes for government to generate the kind of a revenue, to have the kind of a thing. Like I say, government will have 3 months' salary in a bank to be able to institute something of this nature.
For Liberia, it will be crazy, because I tell you, even the payment, right? If so, in case I'm employed on the 8th, do I expect pay on the 15th? Or do I expect pay on the 30th? Because I have work. So you don't be paying. So they need to sit down and have our entire working, because they pay per month. In Liberia, it's now a week. Yeah. In the US, we do weekly and bi-weekly, weekly and monthly if your salary. So there are a whole lot of work needed. They need to have a consultation, because if I'm employed, because the law says in Liberia now, I work with Liberia Broadcasting System. Once you work until the 15th, you are entitled to your entire month pay.
Okay.
So most people will always fight, even if they leave in job. If people travel go all the country, they will leave in that job. They will fight to work until the 15th. So when after the 15th, you're entitled to your pay. So what would the system be like? I'm employed on the 8th. I work 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, or 5 days, maybe 1 week, and I'm not going to get paid for that 1 week. Would they going to pay me in the 15th? Will I be in the system into that time?
That's the beauty of a government. Government is bigger, so government can absorb some of that, depending on how you
structure
it. Notwithstanding, again, the idea is good. There already a payroll system in place, so to make it work is not the problem. Government can say every 2 weeks you get paid. The issue here is that government does not have that money sitting down in the bank to make that payment, and so to even voice this or at this point, great idea, but government must have 3 months of salary in the bank to be able to have the system work.
Yeah, it's just like you have a small business.
Exactly.
You already have that money. So even once the time reach for your business,
you make payments.
You make payments to pull it out.
We can do 2 weeks. Here in the United States, you can pay per week, you can pay per day, you can pay every 2 weeks, you can pay per month.
Per 1 hour, even if you work an hour.
But again, I like to see this roll out in the private sector. If we come up with some, it doesn't have to be a law. We can ask the private sector and say, look, can we start this kind of a revolution? Let's see if we start to pay 2 weeks, how it's going to work. Even autonomous agencies that are bringing in revenue, like
LRA
and other things. Let's see if 2 weeks will work.
Like the police. He may mention the police and nurses.
Police, military. Let's start with a small group before we bring in everybody.
Roll it out.
Let's start with an agency and start rolling. Maybe every 3 months we can add one more, and make it work for everybody. But to say this outside of having a cabinet meeting and I like the idea, but it entails more. It's easier to say than done.
Easily said and done. Josiah Joker has a lot of work to do in terms of revamping the CSA, because hey, some of the CSA, like you were saying the last time, public relations officers, secretary, and the people who are CSA, they are just like somebody said, they just put there. If I'm minister, I bring my own relative or friend as my special advisor or as my special assistant, and they don't know process about office procedure. You bring them, they take them almost 2-3 months to learn about the procedure. So these are things that happen. We hope that the CS will be more vibrant in terms of bringing on the qualified people.
You know the thing about it, we have a system. It's worrisome when Liberians think we don't have system.
But it's
We
not
have everything
visible.
in the books. We just got to enforce it. And sometimes the enforcement of our laws, sometimes we who want the system to change or the system to work. When the system starts to be effective, we start to complain. Let's take, for instance, the hiring of relatives and friends. So are you saying if I am a defense minister and my brother is capable of being chief of staff or something of that nature, or I can hire my brother, should I not hire my brother when he's capable? You should. But did my brother go through the right process, right? If my brother's supposed to go through the right process to get hired and he went through the right process, that shouldn't be a problem. But if you bypass the processes that have been put in place for hiring and you just pick him and hire him, then it becomes a problem. Notwithstanding, doesn't mean that because I'm a minister doesn't mean I don't have that kind of I'm not an influencer. I could be an influencer in getting my brother going through the right process and being hired. So there's still a catch to it, but the process must work. And many of the times we do not go through the right process.
Many attempts do not go through the right process. Let's go over to our next talking point here. Representative Yeke Cordoba is blasting President Joseph Imamboka for elevating Man Botolo, who rained insult on him. Let's listen to Man Botolo. She's famously known for Yeke Frisky, Boka Nambibi. Let's listen and we hear from Representative Yeke Cordoba. He spoke on other issues as well.
Yeah, before my video, I tell the people, I say, everybody can tell me to walk out.
Yeah.
Because walk out, that's my son.
Yeah, son.
That's my son, everybody can tell me to walk out.
Wow.
Somebody they hold my hand, and say, don't go to your son. When I go there, the man welcome me. But I want to tell you that, that you need my presence.
Let me Papa know.
Hey, you can't press the country. Hey, man, I can't do walk out. Walk out, not say where you go.
Bogana baby.
Hey, not baby, walk out, not child.
Hey, that child.
So got be mocking.
Okay.
You can say will talk to me off
Forward today.
Okay. I want the topic.
Okay.
I will repeat that topic.
You respond to him.
I will respond to him.
Okay.
I will tell Yaka present. I will give him money to go open it. To write on it.
Oh my God.
So Man Botolo was there dealing with Yeke Cordoba. Yeke is worried. He's angry that President Joseph Boga will elevate somebody who was insulting him, because according to Yeke Cordoba, this lady did not do him justice. Let's listen to Representative Yeke Cordoba.
You want vice president, your brother tenure position, you don't want to respect it. When you respect it and when you disrespect the tenure power, will disrespect you. You might be careful if I carry your complete. God bless you, carry your complete to him. What's wrong with you? You pass that around your potato, you'll be old man. Oh, Joseph Boga call my man, you call them to appreciate them. Joseph Boga, you are very reckless and irresponsible. Have you called George? We have to tell him what happened to you to the airport. I'm very sorry. Is that the kind of leader you are? You think I'll regret? I will not regret, but you'll regret knowing me. You're an irresponsible man. You sat down, you embarrassed our president. You told your irresponsible people to embarrass our president. Have you ever called him to extend apologies to him? You sat down your job, we have fair you, gave you money to go take treatment. You're not a job, we have been you gave all you are going to become president of this country. So we have gave you money to go to hospital. That you are. So you are very irresponsible. And we'll go more than this. We will go more than this. They want to just stop it right here with the way I'm managing it right now, because you look at somebody that get on public forum. Just is too irresponsible. You look at me. I will fought to bring you to where you are. Every day your son in the plane, Georgia has become a millionaire. Georgia on the plane with others on the sets. Georgia ride business class every day Georgia is in the plane, coming to bring investors to croak them because of you, Georgia Boga. Not only you was a crook, a serious embarrassment. Georgia Boga, you are disgrace. reckless and irresponsible. Oh, somebody insulted my mother, but you called them to appreciate them. The nurses are here. You have not called them. Those security people that will behind you under the ring, you didn't get them farther. To the point where you couldn't even press your own tractor. Go pass around counter, but go collect that money. Joseph Baga, why you have money for staying on feeding you?
Representative Yeke Koluba, they're dealing with Joseph Boka, president of Liberia, because Joseph Boka, he said it's not a reconciler. The issue that happens with former President George Weah, Joseph Boka have not called on George Weah. He went on naming other issues at that press conference. And man, who ran insult on Representative Koluba that, hey, he's worried why Joseph Boka will elevate such a lady who ran insult, looking at the people who are talking against him. Jackson Josh, you listen to all of the allegations from Jojo, the son of the president.
I wouldn't want to dignify some of these things that Representative Koluba is saying.
And they're not issues.
Sometimes you have to balance your politics. At what point is he going to balance his politics? One. Number two, you can deliver a message. You don't have to deliver your message in a way you deliver your message. And that, if that is his style, then I can agree that's his style of politics. But one of the things that I would think as a person, Yeke Koluba's style of politics is to, when he was going after George Weah, I guess people from the United Party and other people were supporting him, right? He got a cash app, he got other means of raising funds. Now that George Weah is no longer there, he still has to raise funds. So if his politics,
you think that's why he's doing
saying, if his politics is that, then I'm just saying, if his politics is that, then now it's the sedition who will support his cause, right? Because he's going after the current president. But I think at some point, the politics will catch up with him, because what will you do? I mean, if you have, if you've used all your arsenal from in your thing, every time you come to speak, everybody will say, well, it's coming again. So no, at some point, who's going to care?
But why should they not care when he's raising major issues?
What are the major issues?
One, why would Joseph Boka elevate Magbo to the who really saw him, and those who fine, but because only Hush is a Liberian citizen.
Are you saying
of course?
So
they voted him.
Elevator, you're going to insult?
No, they voted him.
Yes, but the elevator him to insult George Weah. Or to insult
some of them, it is a clear fact. Somebody elevated him to re-insult on George Weah, and somebody are still not elevating
him. If that is the method, then
yeah.
why is he concerned about the method?
Because he's not a president.
No. Why is he concerned about the method? Don't forget about the position.
We can't forget about the position.
What I'm saying is the method. So is he saying that the Liberian people elevated him to just insult?
Some. It is a clear fact. That's some.
No, don't say some. So
but not everybody voted him to insult.
This lady went to see Joseph Boka. She's a Liberian citizen. So, like Prophet Key. So Prophet Key should not come to Liberia.
Did Prophet Key see Joseph Boka?
No, that's not the point. I'm just saying Prophet Key should not come to Liberia because of some of these things. What I'm saying is that, again, we don't have any. The reason why Yeke Koluba can say these things and go through, because we have laws that you freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want to see. Why are you mad if the president met a lady who he wanted to meet? The president meet Yeke Koluba. So if Yeke Koluba is in a space and the president comes in, he's going to run, or the president going to say no? I mean, let's be honest. It's not going to. That's not how it works. So politics is different. The politics is different. So if the president met her, the president can meet Yeke Koluba. So all of the insults that are going, he wouldn't. If the president were giving the State of the Union, he'd be there. If the president were meeting the House,
I think you're looking at it from a different way. Yeke Koluba is looking at it. You're looking at it from a different point of view. Yeke Koluba's argument is there are nurses who was in the street, even in Bond County, they flocked some nurses for Joseph Boka business. From Montserrat, other counties, Grand Cape County, where people died, doing campaign and other activities.
There were people in the United States who supported Yeke Koluba. Has he come to see them?
They are playing.
Who send their family members.
So now,
hold on. People who send their family members, send money and other things. Has he come to see them? So like, let me tell you something. Campaign is different from governing.
Fine,
right? Campaign is different from governing.
So it's over.
During the campaign time, you get 2.something million people.
Everybody gets different views.
Yeah, but everybody coming after the political party. So when you win to governor, you got to go back to all of those 2 to 3 million people. You got 6 years. Just because he hasn't seen the nurses, or he hasn't seen these people, doesn't mean that it's not going to be part of the schedule. He got so many other things to do. So government, until you understand the functionality of government, you don't. And we can complain from the George Weah time to now. People can spin things however way they want to spin it. Until you sit into that chair, you don't understand.
So
you got so many things to do. You got national security to deal with. You got drugs that are taking over our country. You got healthcare that is major. You got education that you got to deal with. Yes, all of those people will be met. But it takes time for the president to meet those people.
And the president will go on those who are against his major critic first. That's why he's suggesting. Now let's go over the George Weah issue. He raised that Joseph Yuma Burger, president of Liberia, is not a reconciler, pointing fingers straight at the situation at the RIA. Up to this time, he said, George Weah have never, former President George Weah have never received a call from Joseph Burger. Is Joseph Burger reconciled?
How do you know?
He has said it. He's in the opposition.
How do you know
That's why he said.
How do you know
because they have never informed him.
Who has not informed him?
Yeke Kolba is in the opposition. He knows now.
No. We don't know. But I'm not defending that. I'm not defending that until the former president can say I never gotten a call.
George Weah have never said that.
So let me ask a question.
George Weah always hit the pulpit to say that.
So the question here is the president not supposed to call to make it work? The president has a lot of people working for him. So if the situation is taken care of, I don't see where we are arguing over a situation where the president, because he didn't, one of the things, Nathan, that the buck stops with the president, right?
Yeah.
So every decision we say the president, and that happens with the former leadership as well. But notwithstanding, I don't see where it's a problem where we don't know whether the president spoke to the former president. We don't know if his staff spoke to the former president. We don't know if apology has been made. Yeke Kolba is a politician. He's spinning what he's spinning. So I'm not going to sit there and glorify that. Just you put in some spin on things. But if we're talking about the airport, right?
Yeah.
The former president came home. Look, even the tarmac. Do you know how many people are on the tarmac to greet the former president? Nathan?
Yeah.
Do you think by law, for security reason, all those people are supposed to be on the tarmac? So one thing was people were happy that they could go to the tarmac to greet the former president, but because he did not go to the VIP lounge and they are complaining. So there was some laxity accorded to the former president. So we can't just sit here and say the former president was not given due process, even though he did not go into the new building. I think he should have gone in there, but I think that will be corrected, and next time he will be accorded all of that. I think the building by itself is for VIP, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like he's going into the presidential lounge, because there's a place there for the president, but there's a lounge where he could go into and so I think that will be taken care of. I mean, we saw it in the last administration how the current president was walking through the airport. Was that the executive lounge? He was former vice president. So, I'm not saying tick for tack, but what I'm saying is that people make mistakes, people correct the mistakes, and we move on. It can be a political thing where people take everything for. I mean, I was honorary consul for 6 years. I went to the airport. I wrote the foreign ministry. I'm coming home. Nobody met me there. Protocol not there. I mean, we all go through all kind of things. We can't just say that. I'm not comparing myself to the former president, but what I'm saying
Jackson Josh is trying to color code.
No, I'm not color coding. I'm just saying.
Color code
I'm
this
just
thing.
saying.
But the reality remains that from Yeke Kolba, that Joseph Yuma Burger have never, president who said he's here to reconcile our country, he has refused.
We can't.
Former President George Weah have
listen
never
to the
said
former
that.
president. He never said that.
And he was going to say that.
How will you know?
How? Because he was going to say that.
No,
Yeke Kolba is in
Not
opposition.
everything that is being said. Man can't tell all.
Let's move over to Grand Cape County.
Man can't tell all.
Grand Cape County. Let's bring you a commercial from our sponsor, the Park Liquor Outlet. We'll come back. We'll talk about Grand Cape County and other issues as we wrap down this interview here on the DiasPora Talk. Let's take a word from our sponsor, the Park Liquor Outlet.
Let your celebration begin with Park Liquor Outlet, your first Liberian-owned liquor store in the city of Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. We have everything that you need to set that special occasion or bride. For your next party or great get-together with friends, visit Park Liquor Outlet. We have great selection of beer, wine, gin, and many more at affordable prices. Our customer service will make you always want to come back. We are open Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. Park Liquor Outlet, your one-stop celebration store. We are located at 6315 Zine Avenue North, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Visit us today and feel the difference.
Let's say thanks to the Park Liquor Outlet for sponsoring the Diaspora Talk show. My name is Nathan Charles. Cyrus McGill, lead presenter of this program, is Nadia. Joanne Krause is also affiliated with this program. Let's move into our next development. We've seen that 12 persons within the healthcare, they have been booked for corruption and financial improprieties. What's going on in Liberia? From my Gibby County, Mr. George, people who have been given the power or the authority to spearhead our health sector, they are having a clique like what happened to the Freeport. Now they are being indicted for corruption and other situation there relating to squandering our health.
Well, I think this is a spillover from the past administration.
Yeah. No, it's not a Joseph Boca administration. You won't get that clear, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying this is a spillover, right, from the past administration where Minister Jala opened an investigation into this USAID funding.
Yes.
Right. And so I think now that we have a different government in place, a new government, there has been an indictment. 2 people have been arrested. Others are at large. So good things are happening. I think these will serve as deterrent. You can have $800,000 coming through a healthcare program for the citizens of that county, and you got a few people, eating it. So because of this, people have died. People have chronic diseases and other stuff. So it is painful for a few Liberians who always think that the rest of us are fools. Or they don't really care. How will we develop if we don't be our brother's keeper? And so I think this will serve as a deterrent if this government can enforce, arrest, and prosecute those people. I like to see it go up the chain as well. So many of the times we arrest the smaller people and the big people go on unnoticed. And I think we should use the same method for white collar crime. We should use the same method to claim the ladder. If people up the chain are being creative, then let them be arrested as well. But we can't always arrest the little people and the big ones go unnoticed.
Yes, we can arrest the big people and the small people and the big one go unnoticed. And these guys, according to the information we gathered, $188,978 from UC funded project intended to improve the healthcare delivery service of citizens of Maygibi County. Maygibi is very big in the Leeward counties.
Correct.
And these people are lacking. They are denied access to health. People like Augustine Fanning, former county health official, Lira Duawazi, former county health service administrator, even the administrator, and people are in.
You know what worries me, Nathan? Let's say, for instance, we got money to buy a cell phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my director of finance or my office staff supposed to make sure that we got 6 cell phones. The money was dispersed. And if I came to work and I didn't see the 6 cell phones, what happens? Do I just sit down and don't ask questions or don't try to figure out things? Why does it have to reach to this point where we're saying $188,000 in appropriation or mismanagement or something of that nature? So again, it comes from the head. If you're not asking questions, if you're not managing, if you're not having monthly meetings, you wouldn't know. So again, most of the time, I say most of the big people in Liberia don't really work hard. They're into so many meetings. they're still micromanaging while they're outside of the agency ministries. They don't allow the deputies to work.
To some people,
To some people and
like
get
you
all of
said,
these things
the
done.
minister not here.
So the minister is not there, or the director not here. For every decision to be made, you got to call the minister and you got to do this. Do you meet your staff on a regular weekly basis? Do you have weekly meetings? Do you ask questions? Do you hold them accountable? Do you know everybody who working for you? Sometimes these things serve as deterrent. So I can see where some of these things will happen, because if you look at the country as a whole, people don't work 8 hours. We can't function from 10 to 2. It's not going to work. So we have to have a mindset to work from 8 to 5. And if we start working from 8 to 5, we have enough time to see some of these things that are happening in our country. But equally so, when these things are made, like the USAID aid and other things, I think that's why we have, like here, we have community town hall meetings, we have city councils, we have, so that people can be aware of these things so they can ask questions. But I can tell you, most people in my GBA won't even know that they have that kind of a contract. They just see things happening, and I don't know, but the citizens got to get involved. I mean,
because the thing is, when these things are hidden, that's why the media comes in to explain what's there for you. And these projects, when it comes, they just have few programs and they pump in small money, give them $5, and then everything, no follow up.
Correct.
And these things happen, like you said, accountability. People must ensure they have different watchdogs checking on these funding.
Correct.
If I'm giving $188,000 to this, I should have an independent group like Center and other groups that will monitor to make sure that these funds are spent wisely.
Even if you don't even have independent group, let's take, for
because
instance,
people are not trusted.
let's take, for instance, an agency. I mean, we should provide a safety net within our system, right, to protect our finances and other stuff. But what I'm saying is that let your people do their work. And many of the times when decisions are being made just by one person, it's kind of difficult. If you got a deputy, let a deputy work. It's just like I always say, let the police officer do the work. Now, if the police officer arrests somebody and that person pick up the phone and call you, you can tell the police officer, say, look, I know that person, but do your due diligence. Because we don't know whether that person is carrying drugs in the car and other things. If you just call and the police officer say yes or yes or yes or, the next time the police officer see that car coming, he's not going to stop it because it's a waste of his time. So that car would now start carrying a lot of drugs within our country. So whether is the police chief brother or sister or other thing, if you got pulled over, do your due diligence and allow the person to go. So it's the same thing with all of these line ministries and all of these agencies and other stuff. If the bosses are, telling the fireman, bring me this one and that one, how you think these people get brave to be able to do some of the things that they do? It's because of bad practices. So the financial man see you taking your own, right?
Yeah, the administrator.
So the administrator take your own. Now the kafu, you can't talk, I can't talk.
Yeah,
Because you took your own, I got a record.
Yeah, I'll bring my brother. He's selling cement.
Nah, I'm taking my own.
I'm
taking my own. Why are you complaining? Now I always tell people, you put your hand in the cookie jar, your hand small, you take 3 cookies. I put my hand there because my hand big, I take 10. You mad at me because I told more cookie people doing the same thing. It doesn't matter. So these are some of the issues that we have in our country that need to be corrected. And it takes patriotism. There's no way that you can stop everybody from doing everything, but we do have a law enforcement process. We do have prosecutorial process, and so if we let the system work, most of the thing will serve as deterrence, and people will not do it again.
People will not do it again. Liberia, we have a system, but it is not being implemented. You see, the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission is urging everyone with information to go out there and tell them who are those involved in this thing. The asset recovery team set up recently by Joseph Yimamboka. We hope that he will expose those who are hiding government and the computers, government homes, government properties. Let us ensure that, hey, all of these things are ensured or not giving adequate, that they are not swept under the carpet and government not recover their assets. Grand Cape County, a few weeks ago, it was a bloody scene there. Citizens are still asking the Joseph Yimamboka to intervene swiftly to ensure that B Mountain B Mountain provided basic social services. They read a petition yesterday at the executive mansion. Let's take a listen and we'll come back. We discuss what was said.
16, the BMMC point over the community relation advisor and superintendent position to affect the community to recommend one of their qualified members with immediate effect. 17, the BMMC reinstate the workers' union chairman with immediate effect to ensure leadership and clear line of communication between the workers and management, which will enhance a cordial working relationship in the mines operation, choice of the people as well. 18, BMMC halt seasonal mine employment and replace it with permanent, as it is provided in decent work act that is diligently work towards achieving 100% employment for Liberian and South region. 19, the BMNC provides all mine workers, especially workers assigned to the underground duty, life insurance and condition for the government.
You listen there to the spokesman calling having several counts for government to intervene. The one that hey, the basic wage be giving them hospital homes be built for them. These are things that are in the concession, but have not been implemented all through the previous government. What's going wrong? Again, we have a
remember we talked about some of these things before. The issue of, again, until you sit in the chair, you have no clue. You can stay outside and say, B Mountain got to do the BCs. Let me just give a scenario. This is just a scenario. B Mountain comes into the country. B Mountain wants to build clinic, school, maybe part of the road, right?
Yeah.
So the first year, B Mountain set up to make funds available to do some of these things, right? Government has not paid its employee for maybe 3 months. So government look into B Mountain and say, look, B Mountain, we need some money, right? Mm-hmm. B Mountain said, well, the money we got here, we promised the community we're going to do this. Government said, give us this money for now, we'll get it back to you. Government is not in the process of giving money back. When you, even here, right? If you went to pay for something like the immigration, you send money, they can send you money back? No, they don't send you money back. So government is not going to refund that money, but that's the money B Mountain has put down for that kind of a development. So the contract with the people, B Mountain is sitting and worried about not doing its social corporate responsibility, but government has taken the money. So I can understand sometimes the complexity into some of these issues, and you think B Mountain going to come out and say, we get government 6 million, we get government this. It could have even started happening from long time ago, before even the previous administration came in, and then they just keep taking. So those social services that these companies are supposed to provide, they're not. Look at the company like Firestone. Firestone, the road look like one side, one lean, right? So look at Lamco or Metal Steel and all of these things. I always ask the question, why did Lamco didn't provide electricity to the whole of Grand Bassa County? They had the capacity to do. Why did Lamco in Yekepa?
So going back in the days of old.
But what I'm saying is that these things can be done. But when government has shortfall and those companies are using those funds to give to government, then those companies are equally limited to do most of the things that they wanted to do. And so we have to balance it out. Okay, so B Mountain, yes, you've given government this, but the people here, they're demanding something too. So you have to balance out what you give government with satisfying the people's demand. And that's where I think we fall short. Those senators and representatives who are in those areas too, they're under pressure. So something has to be done. So how can government and B Mountain sit down on the table and restructure their contract to make sense? That's something now that's supposed to be happening, but it's not as easy as people think it is. Nathan, that these companies are coming in, they're just so vicious, they don't want anything done. I don't think that's the situation.
But we have our legal people. They should be able to cross the T's, ensure that I's are doubted. And also our lawmakers too, they should do oversight, because people from Grand Cape Mount County, they should also be, because that's the major thing, oversight, to ensure that these things are implemented. And it's been years, previous government have not done that. Something is wrong.
The complexity of government makes it difficult. Can it be done? Yes. I think in the initial stage, when you're starting this process, when these companies come in, the concessions are signed, they must immediately start to do some of these things. Now, once they start doing these things, they will have to complete the project. But if they wait for 2 years and say, okay, after 2 years we'll start building these things, after 2 years it becomes difficult to even start implementing some of those things, just because we are humans and things happen. Natural disaster will happen, things could happen. But again, because our country has a lot to do with corruption, some of these things are falling in the cracks. But in total, B Mountain will have to balance out between government demands and its community demands. And those two things will have to work hand in hand, because at some time the people will get tired. The people need something. You have to give them something. It's not like 20 years ago, so the young kids are smarter. Smartphones are all over. They know they can go online and see what B Mountain is doing, who they're selling to, who are the buyers, what the worth of what the minerals they are mining. People are not stupid anymore. So government will have to set up in ways that we balance out, so that these companies are giving the communities something, but equally it's the government's benefiting something. Government already has its benefit within the contracts, and that's what government is pulling away from these people.
Okay, this is how we like to wind down this edition of the Diaspora Talk. Jackson George, as we wind down, what's your final comment to Liberians and the government as a whole?
Well, I think Liberia is a great country. I think we all need to understand that the development of our country doesn't rest with one person; it rests with all of us. I think politics is a good thing. I think we need a strong opposition, but equally so, we need an opposition that understands that we have to develop. We got 6 years. That's time for campaigning, and there's time to run the course of politics. So we just have to respect each other and make sure that that all of us are Liberians, and all of us, we have a stake into the country. We should not be disrespecting each other, no matter what spectrum you're on, And so if we can do those things, respect the rule of law, respect our communities, make sure that money is being appropriated for certain things are done, I think we'll be fine. But until we can respect each other, we have a long way to go.
Until we can respect each other, we'll have a long way to go. Liberia is all we have. And hey, it's Decoration Day. I know the day is already over in Liberia. Let us ensure that we respect our dead ones and preserve their cemetery. Also, Yeke Koruba blasted Joseph Yimambwaka for elevating Mount Botoro, and he raised other issues in Liberia. And resident of Grand Cape Mount County wants the intervention of government into the situation that led to several deaths in the area with the B Mountain, and they want speedily investigation. 12 officials of Maghibie County Health Team booked and indicted by the LACC. 2 persons already arrested in connection with misappropriation of entrusted funds for the county. Thanks, and have yourself a wonderful day. Cyrus McGill, Joanne Prousey, Jackson George are all affiliated with the Diaspora Talk. Until we come your way on Friday, when we come back, we'll look at John Modu's statement on the assets recovery team, saying that it's a mere bluff on the Joseph Yimambwaka leadership. Friday, we'll be talking more on that. Have yourself a wonderful time.
Let your celebration begin with Park Liquor Outlet, your first Liberian-owned liquor store in the city of Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. We have everything that you need to set that special occasion or bride. For your next party or great get-together with friends, visit Park Liquor Outlet. We have great selection of beer, wine, gin, and many more at affordable prices. Our customer service will make you always want to come back. We are open Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. Park Liquor Outlet, your one-stop celebration store. We are located at 6315 Zine Avenue North, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Visit us today and feel the difference.